A growing number of first responders are experiencing workplace burnout as we approach nearly 2 years of this pandemic. Tell us more about disability claims for workplace burnout is disability and injury lawyer Nainesh Kotak. Welcome back to Morning Live. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Are you seeing a lot of claims these days in this area?
Yes, we are. Look, we know in general, 1 in 4 Canadians, at least at some point in their life, will have some form of mental illness. Obviously, much more for frontline workers, simply because of what they see on a day-to-day basis. There's ramifications of post-traumatic stress disorder, major depression. The pandemic has worsened things considerably, obviously, through what they've seen throughout it, through the workload. And now, because of the shortage of frontline workers, particularly nurses and paramedics, due to being off work due to the Omicron variant. So we've seen certainly an uptick in disability claims, and not only that, Bob, but also disability claims that are denied. These claims are very easy to deny because we're dealing with mental illness, which unfortunately is invisible. I mean, it's diagnosed by subjective complaint. It's not like you have a
So let's try and define, or is there a legal definition of burnout? So it's not really a medical condition. Is that where the problem area is?
Well, that's correct. Some people look at burnout as actually being a symptom of anxiety. One thing you'll see with anxiety is just that increased stress level, increased frustration, inability to focus. So what we try to argue in our cases, in fact, is that burnout is just simply a symptom of a mental disorder such as anxiety. And we're able, in fact, to get medical opinions in that regard and to support our clients if their disability claims have been denied.
Now, there's linkage to PTSD as well, isn't there?
Absolutely. Post-traumatic stress disorder, traditionally we sort of see that, we think that's a military issue, but no, I mean, our first responders see tragedy all the time, families separated, which is what happened during hospitalization of COVID patients. And they see that and they internalize this. And also, don't forget, Bob, we're dealing with culture. Certain workforces, occupations, they keep that in. They don't want to talk about stress they go through, and frontline workers are just that. And it's always important, Bob, to get an ally in the family doctor or your treating physicians, not only to help get treatment, but these are the people who are going to fill out forms for disability claims. These are the people who are going to prepare reports. So
what if someone doesn't have a family doctor?
Yeah, you know what? And this happens a lot. Unfortunately, we have a shortage. But then you have to look at walk-ins, maybe social workers, EAPs, employee health or assistant plans that through work. But it is a difficult problem, unfortunately, and people end up going to the hospital to see a psychiatrist, and this is unfortunate.
So, Nainesh, we got a minute here, but just quickly, what's the process here? What are the first steps?
Right. If somebody has a disability claim, there's 3 forms that need to be completed, and this is for short-term or long-term disability. The first is an employee statement, factual about yourself and what you're going through. The employer statement, which will set out in terms of factual terms your income when you started working and the type of coverage that you have. The most important form is the physician statement. That is where a medical practitioner will complete a form that sets out your diagnosis, not only your diagnosis, but your restrictions in terms of whether or not you can perform the tasks of your employment. Once those forms are submitted, the insurance company will make a decision. If they say no, they sometimes offer what's called an internal appeal process. The difficulty, you've got the left hand judging the right hand. I really don't recommend it. I hardly ever see cases get overturned in the internal appeal process. When you go to a lawyer, and unfortunately, when you have to have litigation, a different person at the insurance company looks at the file, a much more senior person and their lawyer, and they're much more amenable to looking at the file with a kinder light and with a view to resolution by way of reinstatement or a lump sum settlement.
Okay. Well, you know what? We're going to link your socials and website at chh.com for more information on this, because it is a very real thing. I visit a long-term care home weekly, and I have really seen the burnout factor in play. They work so hard and they're under so much stress. Nainesh, good to see you. And again, we'll link up the website for Kotak Law. Nainesh Kotak.